Let's talk Yoyo Loaches, shall we? This is one of those fishes that we feel are highly underrated in the aquarium hobby. The reality is that if you've ever owned Yoyo Loaches, you have possibly experienced an emotional roller coaster attached to this great fish. We say this in a good way, although we wouldn't recommend this fish for a novice, but rather intermediate fish keepers with some experience. Yoyo Loaches, also known by other names such as the Pakistani loach, the Almorha loach, the marbled loach, and the leopard loach. Despite the Pakistani stamp on one of their known names, they're actually native to India and Nepal. For example, the Almorha name comes from the region of Almora in India, which seems more accurate since this is an area where they're native from. Meanwhile, the marbled and leopard names comes from their distinctive phenotypical patterns and appearance. Their most popular name, however, is the Yoyo Loach. There are two main theories that explain this name. One is the fact that especially when they're young, they go swimming around in rivers and streams in a repetitive behavior that mimics that of an actual yo-yo. You know, the one you used to play with as a kid, or even better still do as an adult. Another theory is the fact that they have dark markings in their bodies which resemble the letters Y and O. This body pattern, however, tends to change as they grow older. Another cool feature is that they can adjust body patterns according to their mood, health, and environment. How cool is that? Yoyo Loaches' natural environments fluctuate according to seasonal changes. If you are considering adopting Yoyo Loaches, make sure to have plenty of space for them. A fish tank minimum size should be of 20 to 30 gallons, and ideally 40 gallons or higher. This is because Yoyo Loaches are highly active bottom-dwelling social scavengers that need to be grouped in at least 3 to 6 per tank. A longer tank, rather than a smaller one, is best, as they are quite the bottom-dwelling explorers. Make sure you house them well initially in an adequate-sized tank, since we once did the error of having them in a small one to move them in the future as they grow, and struggled to catch them with our net quite a bit when that time came and had to remove almost everything on that tank since they are expert hiders. Yoyo Loaches display one of the most intriguing hierarchical social structures in the hobby. You can see them being playful by chasing each other, as they wiggle and twirl at each other in excitement. However, all of a sudden out of nowhere, you will notice that they spar at each other to establish dominance. You shouldn't be concerned if you notice this behavior with Yoyo Loaches, as it's natural shoaling conduct between them. I always think of them as little bullies that like to give each other, and sometimes other fishes, a hard time with a little bit of teasing. The established hierarchy will determine who eats first, meaning you will usually notice a bigger, fatter Yoyo Loach in your aquarium, while the others may be slimmer and smaller, at least for a while. Perhaps this is just us, but we've noticed that after one of them passes away, and especially if it's the alpha, the surviving ones will have a transitory period, where you almost feel as if they don't know how to go around eating when you throw them food in the tank. They will eventually figure it out, and one of them will establish dominance, and then the hierarchy is rebalanced again. Again, this may be our own experience, but we even notice a drop in their energy and hyperactive behavior around the tank once this happens. It is important to point out to the fact that as they grow, Yoyo Loaches tend to be less hyper when it comes to the yo-yo-looking like behavior around the tank, yet they maintain their activity as a scavenger on the outlook for food. Another cool feature of the Yoyo Loaches is that they make this clicking sound while eating solid food. You may not hear this much on this video since we threw them an algae wafer. Differentiating a male from a female can be difficult. Some people point out to their whiskers, where red whiskers means it's a male, while black ones means it's a female. Another potential difference is that females are believed to have a lightened colored belly, and they grow larger in size. Finally, some point out to the fact that males have more tendency towards being more aggressive and chase one another in mock battles. When it comes to mating, you will rarely see yo-yo lay eggs in your tank, as you would have to recreate their natural environment very well. Nonetheless, some people in the hobby has reported that this has happened to them. Personally, this has never been the case for us. If you decide to adopt Yoyo Loaches, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. We already spoke about the tank size. Another thing is to aerate the water fairly well with moderate flow. Another thing is hideouts, such as natural or decorative caves, driftwood, leaves, or rocks, as this can mimic their natural conditions. They tend to thrive in a pH range of 6.5 to 7.5, which is slightly acidic to neutral water. The water hardiness should ideally be moderate in a range of 5 to 12 dgh. Their substrate preference is soft, such as sand. We have tried them in different substrates, including gravel, and their behavior immediately changed. We noticed that they were not eating regularly and lurking in their hideouts, both of which are concerning signs. We obviously ended up moving them back to a sanded substrate tank soon after this observation, and their natural behavior came back in a jiff. Although you see them in one of these videos in a planted tank, yo-yos can give us quite a headache by digging up plants, since they are again bottom-dwelling scavengers who are always on the outlook for leftover food. Hence, you might want to consider placing them in a planted-less tank, or be conscientious on which type of aquatic you want to place with yo-yos. Another thing to consider is that yo-yo are opportunistic omnivores, meaning that they will eat a little bit of pretty much everything. This includes invertebrates, including shrimp and snails. This could mean excellent news if you happen to have a pest snail problem. On the other hand, if you value your cherry shrimps, you are probably better off housing them elsewhere, or else they will make a great snack for the Yoyo Loaches. Amano shrimps might be on the safer side, since they are a little bigger than cherry shrimp, and faster too. Personally, I avoid any kind of shrimp with most loaches, including yo-yos. You want to keep in mind that Yoyo Loaches can be a little bit unpredictable and temperamental at times. This is the case within their own species, as well as with other species. Ideal tank mates for Yoyo Loaches include peaceful and fast fish, like harlequin rasboras, zebra danios, and rummy-nosed tetras. Please avoid, or at least keep an eye if you were to decide to place yo-yos with long-finned and slow-moving fishes, such as bettas, angelfish, or even guppies, since the yo-yos might nip and nibble at long fins out of curiosity. As you have seen from our videos, guppies have worked for us, but we are mindful that anything could happen in the future where we might need to move someone around. Other considerable tank mates include other bottom dwellers, such as Corydoras catfish and the coolie loach. Also keep in mind, once again, the importance of maintaining yo-yo loaches in groups, since not doing so might make them hyper-focused on other fishes. Feed them a varied diet that includes sinking pellets, frozen foods, and fresh vegetables such as cucumber and zucchini slices. Doing this might also reduce them being aggressive at other species around the tank. One thing that we love about Yoyo Loaches is that they seem to remember their human caregivers, as we can vouch to this, since the ones we moved from a smaller tank to a bigger one have continued showing fear when we approach the tank, while others that were not there at the time don't fear us whatsoever. They just seem to remember that we brought them over directly from the pet shop and have been feeding them regularly. These usually don't mind playing around the tank while we are doing something with our hands inside of the IT. Regardless, we absolutely love our Yoyo Loaches. They're stunningly gorgeous-looking creatures with a full action-packed personality that not every fish out there has. While most other loach types are predominantly active at nocturnal hours to avoid predators, Yoyo Loaches are one of the few that are active throughout the day and will allow you to see them doing their thing. If treated right, Yoyo Loaches will surely reward you for a long time. They are known to live around 5 to 10 years when kept under optimal conditions. We hope you have found value on this educational video about Yoyo Loaches. If you did, we would highly appreciate if you could smash that like button. Also consider subscribing to our channel for more videos like this one. Do you own Yoyo Loaches or would like to own in the future? Please let us know in the comments. We would love to know about your experience with Yoyo Loaches or other species. Looking forward to seeing you in the next one. God bless.